So it's been a while since I've made a video, and there's a really good reason for that. I actually just had a baby. Now, being a dad is pretty great, but my favorite part might be how my free time has been impacted. Because of this, I've had a very limited amount of time to do things like play video games or watch TV or make videos, which I like to do. So I decided, with a now 6-week-old baby, a job, and a wedding this past weekend, I decided the best thing to do was to do a game jam. Why not? Game dev has been an interest of mine for a long time. I remember making like RPG Maker games back when I was in like middle school, and that interest has stuck with me. And now lately, I've gotten into the Godot engine, and I've really had fun with it. I don't have any aspirations to become like a big game developer or release like a big commercial game. It's just something I enjoy, and it's a fun little creative field for me to explore when I have time to do it. One thing that I've always heard when it comes to advice for people getting into game dev is to join a game jam. And I decided to do that. I saw that there was a Game Maker's Toolkit game jam, which is a very big one. There were almost 10,000 games submitted to this game jam. Okay, so that's a huge amount of people coming together to make a lot of games. So what a game jam is, if you're not aware, is you basically get a short amount of time to make a video game that, fits with some theme that you are given for the jam. For this jam, the theme was loop. And when I heard that theme, I was really excited, and I had all these ideas running through my head, but it was a matter of choosing one and sticking with it. I was entering this game jam as a solo developer. I don't have any friends who do game development. So with that in mind, I have to pick something that is very small in scope and just really pick one mechanic and try to build something that functions at the end of the day, that has a beginning and an end. That's all I wanted to make, something complete that I could say I finished and just have some fun, and I did. So some of the ideas that came to my mind when I was thinking for this game jam was, well, I could make something where a player is in a repeated environment over and over, maybe trying to find a way out, like that Exit 8 video game where you're walking through the hallway looking for anomalies. Thought that might work. I obviously thought, which I'm sure a lot of people did, some kind of like a time loop mechanic. And I did kind of actually use that in my game a little bit, kind of with the narrative. Another possible option was something like, I thought about maybe like a one-screen game, like you're playing the same level over and over and over, but you have a time limit on how fast you can beat it, and that time limit gets shorter and shorter, but you also get stronger with some sort of modifiers, like speed modifiers, or you can jump higher, or something like that. I don't know. These are all ideas that I had, but there was one idea that I really wanted to explore, and it was an idea based on a game that I don't even know if I ever played, maybe a little bit back in the day. But it's the Pokemon, Ranger? I think it's Pokemon Ranger, where you can draw the circles around the Pokemon to catch them. I was going to do something like that in my game. So right away, something I noticed is that loop was actually hard to implement. And again, I am not a master coder by any stretch. I am very much a hobby programmer, which means my code probably looks terrible to someone who actually knows what they're doing. But I tried a few different ways to make the loops work, and I found a way that kind of works. Like, it's very passable. This is one of those things that happen in a game jam. You only have so much time, so you have to just get things to a level where you're just like, you know what, I have to work on other stuff. This is at a good enough level, and I'm working by myself, not a lot of time. So that's what I did with the loop mechanic. So then I started building the dungeon, and again, very small scope. So what I just made a little tutorial area, and then you move on to the main dungeon, which is just a hub with 4 rooms off to the side. Each room has its own little puzzle or combat challenge, and the idea is you have to complete all 4 of those before you face the final boss. So again, super small scale, and I was able to make that kind of work. And one of my favorite parts, actually my favorite part of my own game, is this little rat character. And I can't say anything else about him, but I'll show you this screenshot right here. Now this guy, when I see the screenshot, I just laugh. I don't know why. It's my own game. It's not that funny, but it just makes me laugh. And it's just something that if you ever play this game, like if you watch this and decide to play it, please come back and let me know what you think of the rat, because for some reason, that is by far my favorite part of this game. So this actually took me all the way up basically until the deadline. I was exporting my game to HTML at like 15 minutes before the original deadline. Now, thank goodness, the deadline actually got pushed back an hour to accommodate for the server overload that was happening because so many people were submitting their games all at once. And I actually got lucky because I technically, by the original deadline, submitted my game 3 minutes late. So thank goodness the deadline was extended because my game actually did make it into the game jam. So I did it. I published the game into the game jam. It's not great, okay? It's good, I think, or at least good enough to make me feel proud. Like, I learned a lot in these few days. I learned a lot of things that work. I learned a lot of things that I was doing wrong as I was making the game. Like, wow, my cutscene manager, I'm putting in every single like little sub part of the dungeon, and that is just working terribly, but it's working. Like, the game is held together with like duct tape and dreams. I just wanted to share my experience with this, because it was really fun to be in a game jam, and to like all day, even when I was busy, my mind was like writing code in my head or thinking like, how can I handle a boss battle with this mechanic and things like that. And again, I didn't make anything revolutionary. I just made something, and that was good enough for me. I think that's pretty cool. Now, with all of that said, I would love it if you want to try out the game for yourself. I'll put a link to the game in the description if you want to give it a shot. If you do play it, I would really love to hear what you think, and I want all feedback, positive and negative, and I know there will be some negative feedback if you do play it, because there's a little bit of jank to this game. I think what I want to do now is I want to go through and play some of the other games that were submitted, and like I said, there was nearly 10,000 games submitted to this game jam, so I'm really excited to see what other people came up with in that short amount of time, and see how different my game is from the other games out there. I actually might make a video showcasing some of my favorite games that I play in the game jam, and if you're interested in that, please let me know in the comments below. And in fact, if you put a game in this game jam, please comment it down below so I can play your game. I would love to see what you came up with, and I might put it in that video. So yeah, that was my first game jam experience. It was chaotic, a little bit stressful, it was exhausting, but at the same time, it was really fun. I just had a lot of fun doing it, and I know I will do another game jam in the future. It's just a matter of finding the time for it. I really probably shouldn't have done it in this time. I was just so busy, but I've just been having this itch to make something, so I just wanted to. You know, at the end of the day, I made time for it. I slept a little less, and I was able to make it work. If you are someone that's into game dev, or you're interested in game dev and you've never done a game jam, I highly recommend it. It's very beginner friendly. You'll see games made anywhere from people who are making their first game ever to people who are making some very, very professional looking games in just a handful of days. And it's really impressive, but I think it's really fun to see the range. I think it's fun to see the games that are clearly made by someone like me who is just learning the ropes versus someone who can just whip out something just insane in that short time. Now, if you'll excuse me, I really need to go catch up on like 4 or 5 days of sleep. But of course, there is a newborn in the house, so you know I'm never going to sleep ever again. Okay, hold on. I finished recording this video, and I was watching the live stream. So they do this live stream for this game jam where the organizer of the jam, Mark, he plays through the games like randomly, and he showcases them on his stream, and he gives some feedback, you know, positive and negative. And my game was actually featured, which when I was watching the stream, I actually started shaking when my game pulled up, because I just started getting so scared, because I'm like, oh my gosh. This is Jake. Like, it's fine. I just had a bad feeling. Well, what did Mark think about it?
This person says, have fun, my first ever game jam, thank you. Can I just say, I am not a fan. What was that yellow line? Makes me mad. Makes me angry. Just doesn't feel that good because of the... What? I like the, you can tell I'm losing the will to live now.
Well,